Yo, I don't know what that was about. I don't know why it showed Rhea versus Becky. We're gonna save that for later, of course. But man, man, what a interesting night one. What a interesting night one to say the least. What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Omo Mustard. No face cam today, not yet, not yet, not yet. We will get to the face cam era of this channel one of these days, but today is just not the day. I debated it though. I debated if I should do a face cam or not, but I just decided, you know what? Let's not do that. Let's save that for another day. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow. Or maybe not. But WrestleMania was today, and I thought overall the show was interesting. It was not as great as last year's WrestleMania Night 1. I think that's kind of one of the reasons why I'm a little down about it. Wasn't like we just had a bunch of bad matches or anything, but I think multiple things happened. And I'm sorry if you can hear me chewing and shit. I'm literally chewing food while I'm doing this. I'm sorry. And I'm drinking some juice. But today's show was Night 1 pretty decent. And I'm being generous a little bit there. I'm going to say it was decent because I'm going to be honest with you. A lot of these matches kind of disappointed me. Seriously, they kind of disappointed me. Not that I was just expecting it to be like every match a banger. That's not what I'm saying. But considering the card and the potential and even the hype, especially the Jimmy vs. Jay match, my God, a lot of these matches were relatively disappointing. Seriously, they were pretty disappointing. Honestly, I think what saved it were the opening match and the last match and the Gunther and Sami Zayn match. Those three matches came in so clutch. So clutch. Because if I'm being honest with you, everything else was mediocre at best or decent or just had a certain role, kind of like it was a stepping stool for something else. I'm talking about that Jade Cargill, Bianca Naomi match. We're going to talk about everything. But this is your WrestleMania 40 review, Night 1. A lot of interesting things happened on this card. But if I were going to give it a rating, I would say 5, 6. I'd say 6 out of 10. 6 out of 10. I mean, I think if you can walk away from the show and you enjoyed yourself, and I think the main event has a lot to do with it, but either way, if you can walk away from the show and say, hey, at the end of the day, I was entertained, there's no way I could say it was a bad show. There's no way I could say it was a bad show. Because at the end of the day, like, that's all this is. This is entertainment. It's World Wrestling Entertainment. I cannot say a show was bad when I was entertained. I just can't. Despite what a lot of people probably want me to say, they probably want me to just rip into this show another one. I can't say that. This was not a horrible show. It wasn't a horrible show. But I think tonight really showed and put on display that this is a new era of WWE. I mean, we already knew that, right? We knew it was a new era, a new time in WWE. But seeing things like the Prime logo, seeing things like, hell, even at the Hall of Fame speech, Paul Heyman literally said Triple H has taken over and he's done his thing as the guy. By the way, appreciate y'all for being up in here. We got 20 people in here. Appreciate that. Hey, 20 people in here. That's no laughing matter to me. Oh, shit. I got to cancel that. But that's no laughing matter to me. I appreciate you guys for being in here. Acknowledge me. You guys showing love. Y'all showing love. But bottom line, the point is, I think this symbolized the new era of WWE. Hell, in the beginning, I believe the Then, Now, Forever, it was Triple H's voice that did it. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I could have swore that was Triple H's voice for the Then, Now, Forever in the beginning of the show. And then on top of that, we saw the Prime logo. Prime is the official sponsor for WrestleMania, or at least, I don't know if it's WWE pay-per-views or just WrestleMania, but we saw the Prime logo in the middle of the ring. Reminded me if you go back and watch the WCW shows, They used to have a lot of logos on the ring numerous times. Numerous times they would do that. So I liked it. I liked it. I liked the fact that it felt different. Even some of the shots that they did, like for example, when Sami Zayn came out to the ring, which was almost like a dead giveaway, by the way, that we were going to get the result that we got. But when Sami Zayn came to the ring, we saw the camera pan with Sami Zayn and stay with him, a one shot. Hell, if it was under the Kevin Dunn era regime, we would have saw 1,000 camera cuts. Would have saw 1,000 camera cuts. So the show had a different vibe to it. I think WrestleMania 39 had a different vibe to it also, but mainly on night 1. Night 2 felt like a Vince McMahon show, especially with the fucking Omos and Brock Lesnar match. That is a typical Vince McMahon trope to have on these kind of shows. But still, I thought this was a good show, and I thought it signified the Vince McMahon era. But let's get going. Let's talk about the show. It opened with, obviously, they did the national anthem. The first match, actually, the national anthem was done by Coco Jones. Real quick, shout out to Coco Jones. She did a really good job with the national anthem. I enjoyed it. Coco, you know, she's one of the biggest, like, up and coming artists. She's not even really new, but shout out to her. She did a good job. But let's talk about the first match. Let's just get started with it, right? Let's get started with it. First match of the show, Rhea Ripley versus Becky Lynch. Now, a lot of people did not like the fact that Becky even got this spot. Honestly, I saw a lot of people angry online. A lot of Liv Morgan fans in particular. They were like, yo, this should be Liv's spot. Why is she getting this moment? You know, so many people mad about it. But honestly, who cares? Who cares? At the end of the day, Becky is the biggest star they could put. This is the biggest match they could do, other than maybe like Bianca and Rhea. But in reality, what's the build for that? That would just be out of nowhere. That's a big match you save for when you have legitimate build towards the match. But Becky and Rhea, this was the right match to do. Personally, in my opinion, I believe it was the right match to do. And I thought they went out there and had a solid opening match. A solid opening match. And actually, before I even get into this, I'm going to be honest with you guys. The crowd. Now, the crowd was solid for this match. They were solid. But man, I don't know what was going on with Philly tonight, but they were not up the way they usually are. They just weren't. They weren't up. And I don't know what it was about. I don't know why they weren't up for this match. Because you think for a match that has, not even a match, for a card that had the stars that they had, Jey Uso, Becky Lynch, Rhea Ripley, and they were up for some moments. Don't get me wrong. There were moments you could pull from it and say, hey, they popped right here. They popped right there. But overall, I do not think they brought it. This was not a typical WrestleMania crowd. This was a Raw crowd. Seriously, this was a fucking Monday Night Raw crowd. And I don't know what's up at Philly. But Philly, y'all usually bring it. Y'all let us down tonight. Y'all let us down big time. Big time. I don't know what that was about. But yeah, that was a mid crowd. Hopefully tomorrow it's better. Maybe it's because of the cold. I don't know. But Rhea Ripley and Becky Lynch, like I said, they went out there and had a pretty solid match, in my personal opinion. Becky looked great tonight. Rhea looked great. Rhea had an entrance where they did the live performance for her on the way to the ring. And I won't even lie. The guy that did the performance, because he was dressed in the same makeup, I could have swore at first I thought that was Rhea Ripley. I was like, Rhea's doing her performance? But it was a badass entrance. Shout out to Rhea Ripley. She definitely must have had the same makeup artist or whatever. But like I said, the crowd was definitely quiet. But the crowd, they gained some momentum during the match. They got the crowd involved in this match. Rhea reversed the top rope leg drop into a prism trap submission hold. It was a cool sequence of reversals after that led to Becky getting slammed by the Riptide, and then a superplex into a disarmor submission. She even did this disarmor outside the ring on the ropes, on the top rope. It was even like another sequence where it was a crazy sequence where Rhea hit the electric chair outside, the electric chair slam on Becky outside. It was a couple of really nice spots, in my opinion. Becky kicked out of a riptide. Rhea kicked out of a manhandle slam. Becky went for a manhandle slam off the top rope. Rhea then reversed it, got out of it, and then Rhea hit a riptide on the turnbuckle, and then another riptide on the mat. By then, the crowd was into it. They bought into the finish, and that was the finish. Nice, solid match. The fans liked it. I think it was good. It was a good opener. I would say if we're doing the star rating, I don't really like the whole Dave Meltzer rating system because he is kind of biased. But if we are doing the star rating, I would say out of 5, 3.5. 3.5 stars. It was a good match. I think, like I said, I think following last year's WrestleMania where Rhea had that amazing match with Charlotte, I think that match was better. But this was still a good match. I thought they went out there, they got the crowd involved, and considering that it was cold, I'm sure it wasn't easy to do what they did, but it was a hot opener. They were feeding off that adrenaline. The crowd, this was one of the few times I think the crowd was really into the show. Yeah, seriously. And it's sad, but yeah, this is one of the few times the crowd was really, really digging what we were seeing on TV. But let's move on to the next match. The next match, the clusterfuck match of WrestleMania this year. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I think this was a solid match. I'll say this. This was also a match they were up for, at least for the finish. They were up for. I mean, when you have a 6-pack ladder match, I'm not surprised that they do that. I'm not surprised that people were really up for the match. By the way, real quickly, let me go back to Rhea and Becky for a second. I don't know where Becky goes from here, and I don't know where Rhea necessarily goes from here. Because, and I proposed this on Twitter, people thought I was crazy to say, but I thought they should have done a double turn. If you listen to this match and you listen to the reaction, the crowd was behind Rhea. All the way. They were behind Rhea. And I don't know what's next for Becky Lynch after this feud. I don't. I don't know what she's going to do because Becky is a baby face, and don't get me wrong, she's over. She is over, and you know, she's done her thing as a heel as well, and people didn't really like heel Becky Lynch, or at least they didn't like how the turn happened with, you know, how she hoed Bianca Belair. But in my opinion, I still think that this babyface run has kind of become a little stale. That's just me. That's just me. I'm not really hearing her get the reactions she used to get. And granted, Becky was like white hot at one point. It's very hard for her to capture that moment again, right? She was white hot. But at some point, I'm gonna be honest with you, you know, she's got to switch it up. She's got to switch it up. I wasn't really like, even in the middle of this feud, I don't think the build was really anything special. And I think a lot of that is because the crowd was not behind Becky in a lot of the promos. I think they expected her to kind of have the upper hand in. But, you know, like I said, that's just my opinion. You don't have to take my word for it. I don't know where either of them go from here. I assume maybe for Rhea, she goes in a feud with, what's her name? Liv Morgan, right? Because Liv Morgan, you know, she's teased, you know, going after Rhea. We know that's a match they're going to do. We know it's a match they're going to do. Because at the end of the day, like, Rhea has that story, and a lot of people, you know, online, not saying I agree with these people, but a lot of people believe Liv has a better story with Rhea. And hey, maybe in the next coming weeks or months, Liv can elevate herself to the point that it's undeniable she should be the one to beat Rhea Ripley. Maybe she can put herself in that convo, but until then, I can't I can't really see her being the one to dethrone Rhea Ripley. I'm sorry. I can't see that happening. But let's move on to the next match. So, like I said, the next match was the tag team 6-pack ladder match for the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championships. Now, my prediction for this match was I predicted that, I believe it was R-Truth. Yeah, R-Truth and The Miz. I predicted that they would win this match. They pulled down both sets of titles. I did not see them splitting the titles because I didn't think, and despite how they said it on TV, I didn't think it was going to be like this. If you guys remember when they had a tag team ladder match where the Hardys came back, they had both sets of titles, but they had one of Raw and one of SmackDown. So that's how I was thinking it was going to go. By the way, we got 52 people up in here. 52 people up in here. Acknowledge me. Yeah, y'all go ahead and acknowledge me by pressing that like button, subscribing to the channel, and pressing that bell for post notifications. Y'all go ahead and do that. So y'all go ahead, press that like button, subscribe to the channel, and do all the fun shit. Appreciate you guys for being up in here. 52 people. Shout out to you guys for showing support to this channel. But like I was saying, I did not think they were going to even set up the titles and hang them in a way that it could be, split. But then as soon as the match started and they showed what the titles looked like hanging from above, I was like, oh yeah, they're splitting the titles. They split the titles because if you look at how the titles were set up, let me even see if I could pull this up. It was set up in a way, and here it is right here. I'll just flash it on the screen so that way I don't get copyrighted. Here it is right here. I was so surprised. Let me pull it up. Right here. As you guys can see, this is how they set up the titles. So when I saw that, I was like, oh, okay. So they're splitting the titles. And the way they announced it also, they said you have to unhook both the SmackDown titles and then the Raw titles. So I was like, okay, so they're probably going to split the titles. That they didn't even have to announce those rules. As soon as I saw that, I was like, oh, so they're splitting it. They're splitting it. And I'll get to my opinions on if I like that idea of splitting the tag titles because it seems I'm in the minority. A lot of people want them to split those titles. A lot of people do. It seems like I said, it seems like I'm in the minority on those tag titles being split or not. But regardless, this match, I thought it was good. I thought it was a solid match, and overall, it was a couple of crazy spots. Seriously, a couple of crazy spots. DIY came out to a DX style entrance. That was interesting. I liked it. I love R-Truth and The Miz. They came out, they did their entrance as well. But yeah, and Damian Priest and Finn Balor, they had like these weird masks, especially Damian Priest. His mask, I think it had like a couple of spikes on it. That was interesting to say the least. Here it is right here, actually. I could just put it on the screen. Yeah. I don't know what that was about, the mask kind of looks cool. Balor looks ridiculous. I don't know what the hell Finn Balor's doing. I don't know if that's a fashion statement. Like I said, I don't know what the fuck Finn Balor's doing. Either way, though, they came out like that. Let's just get straight to the match, right? So the match started off with everybody just jumping. And I mean, everybody just jumped Judgment Day. They jumped Judgment Day. New Catch Republic, they both did. They did a double moonsaults off the ladder. It looked great. R-Truth got the hot tag. And he got the hot tag from The Miz. Instead of just going in the ring, he got the hot tag from The Miz. And the place went crazy. You know, I was seeing people complaining that R-Truth and The Miz won this match. They were like, oh, it should have been DIY. It should have been this guy, whoever. But at the end of the day, R-Truth is over. Okay? If you look at that, hell, just look at the pay-per-view. Everything R-Truth did got a crazy reaction from the crowd. You want to know why? Because he's that over. The crowd was low for a lot of this match at WrestleMania, right? Shocking. But guess what? One of the things they were hyped for? R-Truth. They were hyped for R-Truth. He hits the shoulder moves on Finn Balor. Then he hits the 5-knuckle shuffle in the AA and goes for the pin on and he counts it himself. He counts the 3 count. He pinned Finn Balor, the visual pin on Finn Balor. But yeah, Awesome Truth and DIY, it looked like they were gonna like agree to both climb up separate ladders and pull down the championships like themselves. Like they were gonna pull it down, and they were agreeing one was gonna be Raw champs and one was gonna be SmackDown champs. But then Grayson Waller and Austin Theory both pushed them off the ladders, and they pulled down the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. I was actually kind of happy to see that because I knew as soon as I saw how the titles were positioned on the ladder, I was like, okay, so they're splitting the titles. That's what they're doing. But I was happy to see Waller and Theory get the SmackDown titles because, one, they've actually been some of the more entertaining parts of Friday Night SmackDown. I think it's a great idea, or at least it was a great idea, to pair Theory up with Grayson Waller. Theory and Grayson Waller, they've even been teasing like a dissension between those two on TV. And I personally do believe that eventually they're going to break up. But I think putting the tag titles, it extends their run as a tag team a little longer, right? Because if they're not winning tag gold or really contending for it, you would think the breakup is going to come sooner. But you can extend it, prolong it a little longer. We know they both can work. They can have great tag team matches with just about anybody, right? And on top of that, once they do lose those titles, it's a great vehicle to then break them up, and I personally believe turn Austin Theory babyface. So I'm down to see what they're doing with this tag team, and I think it's great to put them on the SmackDown tag titles. Now, they didn't get to celebrate for long. They did not get to celebrate for long because as soon as they grabbed the tag titles from SmackDown side, they tried to go to the Raw side to get them, or at least I think Grayson was on the ladder, and Theory went to go to the other ladder to get the Raw side, the Raw set of tag titles. So, what the hell? Come on, man. Why is the stream tweaking? Oh man, my stream is on some shit. Okay. Can y'all hear me, chat? Oh, shit. Hold up. Yo, chat. Is everything good? Chat, if y'all can hear me, if everything is solid, y'all let me know right now. I think everything should be good, but I just need y'all's... fuck. Yo. I just need y'all to give me that A-OK. Because I don't know what's going on right now. It's saying that my shit is tweaking and it's not great health on this shit. I don't know. What the fuck? Oh, man. I don't know what's going on. Yo, chat, is everything solid? I think I should be good. Yeah, I don't know why it's buffering so much. But yeah, what the fuck? Okay, someone's saying I can hear it, but it keeps buffering. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Trying to adjust the stream settings. Y'all bear with me. I'm so sorry. This is my first time doing a stream on this channel, bro. Why is this happening? Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Why it's doing this. I think everything should be solid though. Okay, everything should be fine. Oh my god. What is going on? Why is it buffering? How do I reduce the settings? Yeah. Okay. Okay. I think. Oh my god, it's still buffering. Jesus. Why this never happens when I was doing my main channel shit. Okay. I think everything should be fine now. But yeah, like I said, I like that they put it on Grayson Waller in theory. Oh my god, what the fuck? Why is it tweaking right now? Okay, like I said,